I'm here out in Buncombe. It's the only remaining ghost town in Southern Oregon. We're on our way to do a great adventure today. We're gonna go visit a farmer, and they're called Applegoat Farm, and they make goat cheese, and they raise the most incredible beef I've ever seen or tasted in my life. So anyway, it's gonna be a really fun adventure, and I'm excited to bring you with us.
This is what they're...
The original schoolhouse for the Rouge up on Little Applegate. So it was over here on the hill originally, because this was all 800-acre at one point homestead.
Really? Okay.
We just got shut off on Thursday. The earliest we've ever been shut off ever for no more irrigation. There they are up there. They're coming in. Those are the kids, the teenagers and the kids.
Now, are there dogs working them right now?
Yeah. There's probably 3 dogs with them that they're doing their job. 60 something, between 60 and 70 goats right now.
All by hand, or do you?
We start by hand. She starts by hand and does the machine to be ODA compliant. Yeah,
Okay.
you have to be grade A creamery. You have to follow like the Umpqua and the Row Creamery. You have to follow the big dog rules.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Got.
Hey, Mama.
She's set up for a big litter.
Yeah, they have like 15 to 20. Hey, Mom.
So if these are this many milk, how many babies do you have a year?
We had 100. I think we stopped counting at 150 or something. Martha owns, or she's the proprietor of Buncombe, right? So that's all her Dexter cows are on there. I think her husband used to do the Dexters, and people used to ridicule them, you know. But now it's like a foodie type quality beef, you know. It's compared to the Wagyu or the Kobe because of the muscle mass. And we do European standard, which is 32 months instead of 15 months, right? So 15, 18 months, you're not going to have that full development. People say you can if you add the grain and corn and all that. Well, we don't feed our animals any of that stuff, you know. So that's the point, yeah. So you'll see them up on the ridge, but yeah, our herd's been here for 50 years, and we have had like a grouping off of that herd that's been acclimated to this valley for that long, you know. And Martha just dropped cows in the field this week, and that kind of makes the neighborhood, it divides the neighborhood, right? Like, is it ethically, morally correct to drop the animal in the field and then let the kids see it, or should they take it to the privacy of like the butcher, you know, somewhere else? And so she's saying that she's done this her whole life here. So it's to her, it's nothing new.
She pushes them out in the field.
Yeah, she dresses them and skins them, hides them, dresses them right in the field. If you know Dexter's, a lot of people know Martha, you know, in this particular side of Southern Oregon. Yeah, for raising most of our animals, I'd say the pork, the goat, and the cows, we're non-vaccinating, non-medicated, no penicillin, no dewormer. We say pasture raised and finished instead of grass fed, because usually that just means you're feeding them alfalfa a blend of alfalfa in the last 30 to 90 days. And then we have, you know, regenerative practices and such where we don't overgraze or overpopulate our pastures. So we have more pasture than we do animals, and that's ideal because you'll drive by some spots that looks like a feedlot, right? And so the grass doesn't grow and the animals kind of have a monotonized diet. So then you don't have the diversity of food to make that better product, right? We'll just call it a product, you know. So you have a more diverse diet makes a better product, you know. So same thing with our goats. Our goats are foraging right now. They forage 18 to 20 hours a day. They let themselves in and out of the barn. They're free to go where they like.
And they're in both meadow and forest. So
yeah,
they're browsing up in the trees.
They go all the way up to the BLM and then all the way back down to the creek. They have pastures. That's the oak reserve. We have the seasonal fruit orchards, and then we get same thing. We get tested by the ODA, USDA, and we have the same standards that everyone else has to go through at the service or the butchering station to even be tested. And they go back, because ours are older than 3 years. They actually go back and test the brainstem and the brain and all that for any damage or worm Trojan damage. You know? So it's a harder test, but it's the longer approach, and we pass every single time.
That's awesome.
You know, and then again, we're isolated, but we're not secluded. We don't run into like traditional livestock issues of overpopulation, cross-contamination, and that. So like the horses drink from where the pigs drink, and the cows drink from where the goats drink, and it's, you know, we're not worried about worms or cross-contamination, but it is work to maintain it, but the reward is that quality that speaks volumes to everybody else, you know, and that's the difference. I'm not here to make a bunch of money. I'm here to make a bunch of, you know, food and health, you know, and
Right.
that's the
completely
difference.
different, like a monocrop and
Exactly. Yeah, if you're companion cropping and you're doing it right seasonally and you're regenerated on the practices, you're patting one after the companion, one after the other. So the goats will do that too. So like the goats will go in, the cows will follow them, they'll dress the trail, then the pigs will go in after everybody, and then you'll realize that you have hundreds of employees that show up every day that don't need water breaks, cigarette breaks, climate breaks, and they just go to work, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. Here, some of them, the kids are coming down now. It's a traditional way of thinking of raising animals as opposed
I mean,
to...
this is the way it's been done since the beginning of time.
Yeah, it's like in the Bible. It's like before the Bible. So we were
exactly.
laughing yesterday that the pigs are 5,000 years old. The lineage of pigs goes back 5,000 years. And so the Bible's, what, 2,000 years old? So like we were laughing about like, the pigs are like pre-biblical.
It's funny, has all of our health standards codes kind of got twisted around the whole industrial agriculture.
Yes, we try to get things pre-industrial revolution, like before they separated the chicken for eggs and meat for poultry, like, so the same thing with the heritage cattle. The Dexters are heritage cattle that you can milk, but we don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you don't milk.
Yeah, but you can. And then they make that quality beef. And the joke is that the Dexter has the smaller leg because the fences in Ireland are made out of stones, so they can't go over the stone fence. Yeah, that's the joke, right?
Okay. So if people in Southern Oregon want to find you, where can they find your products and you?
Okay, our products are, we do 3 farmers markets a week seasonally. So we're at the Tuesday market in Ashland, the Thursday market in Medford, and then the Saturday market in Grants Pass. And then we're on the healthiest highway in Oregon. We're in about 5 locations there, Highway 238. That goes from Fry Family Farm in Jacksonville out to Whistling Duck in Provo. Along the way, we're at the Rouge Store, Applegate Store, Cartwright's Market, Oregon Cheese Cave. I mean, we're in about 18 stores, a couple restaurants, and a few vineyards seasonally, depending on where we are with product. But the thing with our product, it's limited and it's seasonal. So again, like if you enjoy our product, most of it is perishable. You can freeze it, right? So you can freeze our product to make it through the seasonal push. So we milk all year round. We're fortunate, but the milk production does slow down. So going from making 200 pounds of cheese a week to 70 to 100 pounds of cheese a week in the winter. But we always say the fable is like, oh, the milk's not as good in the winter. We find the milk to be better in the winter, more nutrient dense, and then in the winter here is different. It's like the nutritional value is different on the plant. So we have a thicker product or more. So they weigh milk by weight, not volume. So that's nutrient dense. So it's more fat. So then you'll have the spring push with the new milk, the new moms, and that'll give you a different fat content too. So like our product does change seasonally, and that's what we're trying to get people to learn. Eating seasonally is big too. So like when the pork is ready, then we have pork. When the goat's ready, we have pork. You know, we don't.
Again, this is the way people used to eat. It's like there was
it's
refrigeration.
yeah, you had what you had, and you go to the market every day to get fresh stuff, and then. But a lot of people want the same thing over and over, but we don't offer that, being an artisan product. But we do have consistency and flavor and a small amount of availability. But the cheese really pushes our products to the ranching side of it. So we are a full birth to butcher ranch, and then we are a grade A USDA creamery as well.
Do you sell the milk, the goat's milk? Or
Oh,
do
we
they sell
can.
the
We can.
cheese?
It's all got to go
Oh,
to the
cheese,
cheese.
okay.
Yeah, but there's talk of us working with the Oregon Department of Agriculture to figure that last step out, and we're working on getting a grant to procure the machines for that, and then we'll be able to bring our product aftertaste or flavor. Yeah, we're registered. A lot of our girls are registered. They come from like private farms that we know that we can trust and stuff. You know.
But I think the flavor of goat milk can change depending on what the diet is.
Yeah. So that's what you always tell people, like, oh, they didn't get as much, so we can't sell as much because the fat content is higher, you know. So the joke is how many times do you yell, hey, a day? Go beyond the quad, go beyond the Applegoat Valley Farms, and then we are the new owners of Mama Terra Micro Creamery that's been in the valley with us owning it now over 25 years. So that's pretty cool. Robin was the previous owner. She retired and offered us the opportunity, and we took advantage of it because the cards were lined up with the availability of the dairy, the pasture, the program, everything. It all made sense, you know. And then we received a couple big grants about those because it was public information. And then that's going to help us establish a food network for people in Southern Oregon or Applegate directly, you know. And that's the plan, you know. And then we work with Azure Standard as a co-op, and then we're a wholesaler and retailer for Azure Standard, and that's where we source all of our black sunflowers and our oatmeal and everything. But everything else is seasonal and local to our watershed, from our hay, our alfalfa, to our herbs and spices and all the greens and everything we use for making. We get a local hay that's third generation hay farmers out here off of Upper Applegate Road. Their family's been doing this for generations, and then it's a no spray, not uncertified, but holistically organic practices. Then they do rotational planting, so we don't have monotonized crop inside the alfalfa too. So we get a diverse product that ensures that we're local, sustainable, and there's no pesticides or herbicides.